Welcome to the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. My name is David Wheatley. We're here to talk leadership in small, bite-sized and practical chunks. Enjoy. Welcome to this episode of the Humanergy Leadership Podcast, and I want to talk about results versus activity today. I've been hearing quite a lot from some of the senior leaders I work with, particularly CEO level folks. They're not doing strategic time and not sitting there and thinking. And the reason they're not sitting there and thinking is because they fear somebody walking past and seeing them do nothing. And they feel like they should be doing something. One of the conversations I have is that they are doing something and they're actually doing some of the work that is most important for them, which is the thinking work. They should be spending time thinking. And this always reminds me of a story from about 15 years ago when I was working at a large automotive company based in Michigan with a guy who we'll call Al, because that was his name. And Al had various roles, and one of them had been to run an R&D engineering department. And as was his wont, whenever he started a new role, he would gather people one-on-one and interview them about what they saw as success and what their obstacles were and what they felt he should be doing differently. And as he was having these interviews with his direct reports, a theme started to emerge about Bob. And his direct reports would come in and say that they were frustrated with Bob because every Friday lunchtime, he would go to lunch and then he'd come back and go to his office. He'd turn the lights off, shut the blinds, and have a nap. And they were frustrated that Bob spent Friday afternoon napping when they were all working. Well, Al was smart enough to not react to this, but just to say thank you for that and keep on listening. And eventually he got round to interviewing Bob. And he said, "Hey, Bob, tell me about Friday afternoons." And Bob said, "Yeah, Friday afternoons, I come back from lunch. I go back to my office. I turn the lights off. I close the blinds. I put my feet on the desk. I close my eyes and I try to think great thoughts." And Al just thought that was an interesting perspective. And again, without reacting, he took it in and said, "Thank you for sharing. Appreciate your candor." And he went and did a bit of rummaging around. And it turned out that Bob held more patents, whichever way you want to pronounce it, than the rest of the team put together. What Bob had said was, "I try to think great thoughts, and occasionally I have one." And he was creating the space for him to actually be creative. And the creative came out in the results that he delivered. So one of the things Al did was say, "Good, keep it up. That's how I'm going to measure you, is the creativity, the good ideas, the R&D that you do that results in us getting a patent." He went back to the other folks and said, "Perhaps you should get on with your work and worry less about what Bob's doing, because I'm going to measure results rather than activity." And especially in days where a lot of us are virtual, that becomes even more of a focus. I'm going to measure the results rather than judge people on activity, whether they be the CEO who's sat there thinking or just walking around and it seems like they're not doing anything. They're probably doing a lot more than you realize. That was the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. My name's David Wheatley. For further information about Humanergy, go to humanergy.com or check out our latest book, What Great Teams Do Great, from all good bookstores. Have a good one. Stay healthy.